This is the Heart of Singing podcast, the place where passionate singers and vocal coaches of many different styles will share their passion about the wonderful art of singing and making a career with their voices. I'm your host, Henry Crescini. Now, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heart of Singing podcast. I am Henry Crescini, your host. Very glad to have you here to continue with season 2 of the podcast. I'm recording this in January 2022, so this is the first episode of this new year. And in case you are listening by the time the year is still fresh, then I wish you a happy new year, a great new year. Sing your heart out in this new year. Support many artists in this new year. And one of these artists I think we should support is a Swedish artist. Her name is Naomi Runa. And I came across her because I have an interest in the Swedish language right now. I'm starting to learn Swedish. And I wanted to listen to artists who sing in Swedish. So I came across her and I liked what I heard, not only of her own music, but also what she does with the band. And I decided to interview her. I asked her and she kindly agreed to. So that's the first interview of this new year. Naomi Runa, I leave you with this interview now. Enjoy. Hi, Naomi. Nice to have you here.
Hi, Henry. Nice to be here.
Well, thanks for accepting the invitation. Are you in Stockholm right now?
Yes, I'm a bit outside of Stockholm. It's called Järna, which is like a small village. So this is where I live right now.
Okay. I'm here in Germany, in the eastern part of Germany. So it's the wonder of these times we're living in right now, connecting all across the world through this medium and making the best out of it, making the best out of the whole situation. So Naomi, we were talking a bit before we started recording about how we got across one another. And the first thing is I had a sudden interest in learning Swedish, and then I started listening to Swedish artists who are also singing in Swedish. And then I came across you, and then I heard your song Min Bön, which also happens to be your latest single. So the timing was perfect. So how has it performed so far, the song?
Good, I feel. It's like, for me, it was a really important song to release because it's about, like the name means my prayer in Swedish. So in that way, it's like, it really is my prayer, and the lyrics in the song is a lot about how I want to see and how I see the goodness, like the basic goodness of humanity. And the prayer itself, like in the chorus, is that I pray this prayer so that everyone can see that we are one. And so this is it's a very simple but strong message. And I feel like a lot of people has responded with a lot of like love, and also people have been really touched about, like this. It's almost like it's a cliche, but it's also something that we need really like a lot right now, that we can feel that there is so much goodness in this world and in us. And there's also like a really big potential that we can do good and we can choose good. So that was the message of the song. And I really feel like people have gotten it.
Oh, that's great. And the style of music, I was like, okay, it's a bit rap with a little bit of trip hop, and I don't know much about such music styles. And then I looked you up, and then I read this description of you, mystic goddess rap. I was like, wow, that's interesting. How would you define that?
Well, it's basically like what I work with when I write my lyrics is my devotion for the divine feminine. So, and also for like the mystical parts of life and like the mysticism. So I would say that And because I am also like writing poetry, like poetry rap, I feel like mystical goddess rap is really like good way to describe it. Yes.
Okay, the divine feminine. Well, I noticed the topic of femininity going across your songs, and there is this one you sing with with a fellow female artist. It's called Sister. The song.
Yes.
It
Yes.
means the same in English. It's only with a Y instead of an E, an I.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there is this topic going across many of your lyrics, right?
Yes, yes. This song is called Syster. It's together with Isabella Jordkreation, which means Isabella Earth Creation. And so she's also like really into this kind of similar ways of creating music. And so, yeah, this is like, I guess this is the theme of both my life and also like the circles that I, spend my time with. It's a lot about how like the divine feminine has like resurrected again on this earth. And for many years I was really involved in like deep mystical temple work of the divine feminine, where I was like more or less describing myself as a goddess worshiper, and also like how the divine feminine, how the energy of the divine feminine is like waking up again in us. And that's what I feel is like a very important part of my way of seeing how we can heal the world, like how we can come back to ourselves in a much deeper way. And also if we look back to the history of humanity, you can see also how we've been cutting out the divine feminine as a part of how we see ourselves and how we see like God, and how we see ourselves.
Yeah, the topic of male dominance has been very much present nowadays, and those of us who are incarnated as men should also try to connect with our divine feminine, because each of us has both sides on them, and there have been quite a disbalance, right? But since I have another account which is for spiritual topics, we can have another conversation about that. It sounds sounds really great, really interesting. Since you're talking about the content of your songs, I wanted to ask, well, you sing in Swedish?
Yes.
And mostly, I found some videos of you singing in English. Of course, I looked you up preparing for the interview, and there was one video of you singing a song called People.
Yes.
And there was something else called, I forgot the name, of you
Holy.
alone, you alone with a guitar. Holy,
Yes.
That's right. Why do you sing in your native language? There's nothing wrong about it. I mean, just a question of, is it like a better connection for you with your lyrics, with your ideas, or is it like because you want to get to the people in your country more, or what is the reason?
Good question. I feel like I can connect more to the Swedish words because it's my native language, and it's also like I live here, and the words, when they come from like out of me, it feels stronger. It feels really like that it's more real for me. And I think also it's about this idea of really wanting to connect to like the local of where I am, and not trying to like sing in a language where I, of course, will maybe reach other people that can't speak Swedish. But I've been choosing, especially when it comes to rapping, I feel it's really important to keep it native and not like pretend that I'm this like lyrical genius in English, because I'm not. But in Swedish, I really feel like that's where my craft lies. Yeah.
Okay. I have the understanding that Swedish and Danish are so similar that you guys can talk with each other. Each of you speak their own language, and You can understand each other well.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Not really with the Danish people. I'm sorry to say, sorry all the Danish people, but like the Swedish people has a really like big difficulty to understand the Danish. But the Danish people can understand the Swedish perfectly.
Okay.
So there's this like little beef going on there, but so that's what it is. But
The
I just
reason.
wanted to say, like, I wanted to add the reason why I was talking about the divine feminine like so much before and like the mystical part of it is because that's like the foundation of the lyrics that I write, and also like these collaborations I've been doing with other artists is a lot about like keeping that or making that alive again. So that was also I wanted to refer to why I was speaking about mysticality.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't want to cut you out.
No, no,
It was
no.
like maybe I can get excited as well, and then we go so deep into it, and
Yes.
we forget the musical part.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, no worries.
And but the reason why I was asking this about the Swedish and the Danish languages and the Norwegian language as well is because your music can be also heard in those countries. Like, do you have
Mhm.
also fans or followers over there?
Actually, I do. I have some people that's been like writing to me that are both from like America. There's someone who wrote to me from Italy also. But I guess that's because of I guess they like the vibe, the voice, and also there's some words in it. Like when I wrote one a verse about where I mentioned like the sacred womb or the yoni and portal, and like I had this song called Sacred Union. So these are all these words and kundalini. All these words is something that it's universal. People understand it, so they get the vibe and yeah, so
Okay. I looked up your music on Spotify and I found you have several singles and they got all released last year,
mhm.
2021. And and it's all digital, right? Do you prefer to release music digitally rather than physically, or is there another reason?
I guess it's more the times that we live in now that because we released a CD with my former band Märkligheten, and I mean it was fun to do it, but we didn't really sell any like CDs because people don't listen to CDs anymore. And so I know there's a lot of creative other ways, like there's people that do cassettes and they give out like vinyls and things like that. But for now, I feel it's enough to do it digitally. Yeah.
I agree with you. I used
Yeah.
to sing with a band, and we also made so many copies of a CD, and I guess they're sitting in some boxes somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Usually that's what happens.
Anyway, you mentioned your band, Märkligheten. Did I say it right? Or got more or
Yeah.
less right? Yeah?
No, you did.
I listened to that album, which is aptly titled Album.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of, okay, the album is called Album. That's kind of kind of nice and original.
Yeah.
It was really cool. That's the kind of stuff that I like because it's like fusion,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are so many instruments there and so many different music styles. And how do you differentiate what you do with the band and what you do as a solo artist? How is the approach differently? And do you write lyrics for the band as well?
Yes. Märkligheten, that album, which is named Album, uh, was created from songs that I was writing like on my own guitar. So I had like a year, this was back in 2013, when I was constantly playing my guitar and I was writing like so many songs. And then I met some people that, we just started like a band. And then we had this tour where we were going around. This was before we were Märkligheten. And we met these particular people on the way. and those joined Märkligheten, what then later became Märkligheten. So that became like a collaboration. So the foundation is my songs that I've been writing, but then how we arranged it was everyone together. So it was like a puzzle, and they all fitted together like really perfectly. So some like the bass man was really like putting his old like riffs in the music that he's been like playing alone at home, and then like he put them in the song, and then the guitarist did the same, and then we had Arsalan, which played oud, also was putting like something that all they had gotten inspired from, like outside of Märkligheten. So it was really perfect how it became it. Yeah. And so how it like differentiates from the music I make now, I guess for me now the lyrics are the most important, because also like I'm writing obviously, and also I guess because it's also now more focused on the hip hop vibe, and also like the more electronical vibe. That is, so it's kind of beat based, which Märkligheten wasn't at all. That was a lot of different influences, but I was really inspired by bossa nova at that time. So I had a lot of like jazz and bossa nova chords when I was writing the songs, and then also like inspired of old progressive Swedish rock, which is basically, actually it's my background, because my father was playing in a very like known Swedish progressive rock band.
Oh,
Yes.
what's the name of the band, please?
Their name was Trees, Grass and Stones.
In
And
English?
yeah, träd, gräs och stenar in Swedish. Yes.
Okay.
So if you ask any old like hippie back in, here in Sweden, they know perfectly who they are. But they also had like this when they were how do you say, they went to America in the 90s and also to Japan. So there was this, they gained popularity again. But anyway, so that's how I was raised, of like of how to view music, like the progressive rock do, so that it can be a bit I don't know the English word, but like you put in trance, like it's a lot of like repetitive and trance, like this kind of stuff. So this was also an ingredient of Märkligheten.
It shows. I mean, it shows through the music. There are progressive
Yeah.
influences there, and that's why the
Yeah.
music is so varied. I'm also a huge progressive rock fan. I'm into many things, and I like many progressive rock bands from Sweden. So I look up your dad's band for sure.
Yeah, do it.
So speaking of your dad, when did you discover that you wanted to become a singer? Did you, when you were growing up, watching him play, or how did it how did it come about?
It's strange because it didn't come so early. I've always been singing as a child, but I never really had the idea that I would like become a singer. It was more of a coincidence that I became a singer, because I was actually just, it's a long story, but I can make it short. So
No
I was
problem. We
really,
have time.
okay, good. No, it was like I was 19 and I just finished school, and there was this particular band called Kultiration, which, yeah, you can look them up. They're really good. They don't exist anymore, but they're like one of the Sweden's greatest band, also with a lot of like conscious lyrics, and a great singer called Marcus Berg. So they were playing at a festival where my dad's friends would also play. So this was like, the old progressive rock, old fellows, and they were gonna go there. So I called them and asked, like, can I come with you on your tour? Because I really want to see Kulturation perform. And I was a big fan of them. And so he said, okay, you can come, but only if you play in the band. And then I said, well, I can't really play an instrument, but I can, try to sing. And then we gathered to rehearse this like particular songs that we were going to play. And I just opened my mouth, and I just like, it just came out this swelling like waterfall of like tones, and everyone in the room, including me, was like, what happened? So it was really magical. It was just like, okay. And then I understood that this was something that I wanted to develop, and I started touring with that band and was getting a lot of into improvisation, like more of like how to use the voice and just like let it flow and use it as an instrument. And that was something, I guess, that came naturally for me because of my upbringing, that my father taught me a lot about how to listen to sound and music, and really like that also any sound can be music. You don't really have to play an instrument. You can also just like take a stick and like, you know, play on the tree and then hear, you know, like the wood, how it sounds. So I guess it was a lot of, yeah, it was playful. And that's how I started singing.
Okay, and back then you weren't playing guitar, because you said I can't play any instrument, so you couldn't play guitars yet.
No, I started playing guitar like a year after that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, and do you play any other instruments? Because I think your music is all self-produced. Is it?
Oh no, it's not. So the electronical music like that that I released now with Min Bön is a beat made from a beat maker called Scientific. So he's a really great hip hop beat producer. So we did this collaboration. And then also I'm working together with a man he calls himself Galaxen, but he was also a part of Märkligheten. So his name is Max. And he's also a really great electronic music producer and beat producer. So he also co-produced Min Bön. And for my other single that I released before, Som du är, which he produced himself. So that was a collaboration. So it was more, he was like doing the music, sent me the beat, and I got inspired and wrote the lyrics. And then like all the melodies comes from me. So that's how we've been working and producing that music.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just started touring with this band. Sorry, I cannot say the name. but you, the band. No, the band you jumped in right into.
Oh yeah. Oh, that their name was Monos.
Monos. Okay, you didn't say the name. You wanted to see this other band.
Yes.
That was on tour, right? So you started playing live, playing concerts, being a singer.
Mm-hmm.
How was it for your voice to suddenly be singing and being on stage and being singing often? Did you have like did you feel the need to learn proper singing, or are you like a natural singer who just lets it go right away? How was it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting story, because it has developed different throughout the years. So now I'm 33 soon, and I started singing when I was 19. And the first years, it came pretty naturally for me. I could sing a lot of high tones, and I had a lot of like stomach support when I was singing. There was a lot of like naturally in me. But because I didn't really have the exact right technique, after maybe like 2 years, I could like sense how my voice got weaker in a way. And I had like a lot of, I think it's called hoarse, when you're hoarse in English.
Hoarse.
So that was like a lot of problems for me. So actually I went 1 year to music school, like focused on singing. So where I met this really great teacher, and she taught me how to sing properly. So I was basically, you know, self-taught, and then she came and helped me to develop this like better technique. And that's more or less like what has helped me on and off. But I also know that my voice itself has this, how to say, it's a bit sensitive. So I really need to like have my technique in place, and also like do my yoga and take care of myself, because if not, then it kind of disappears. So yeah.
You won't believe it, but one of the questions I prepared was the relationship for you between singing and yoga.
Okay,
And you
wow.
just mentioned it, so that's a
Yeah.
connection right there.
Mm.
Well, I think it comes also from the breathing, because the way you breathe for yoga is basically the same way you should breathe all the time, like
Yeah,
expanding your rib cage, and the
yeah,
way you should breathe for singing.
definitely.
But it's also a way of balancing, right? Well, I shouldn't be doing the talking.
No, no, but of
You
course,
tell
yeah.
me.
Yeah, no, but you're right. That's how it is. For me, it's been a lot about more of like meditation, and also different styles of breath work that I've been like having in my practice throughout the years. And I can, it's as you said, like my relation with singing and yoga, or I would also say like yoga and practice, because sometimes like I don't do yoga for a long time, but it's this thing of like keeping the body alive. And this, everyone that sings know this, that like when we feel tense, and when we feel like all this, and maybe also like emotional things that hasn't gotten released, you can feel how the voice is really not there. And so it's also like an indicator for me that when I then sing and I feel like how I lose it pretty like quickly, then this is an indication that I haven't like done my practice well enough. Yeah, so that's also what I see right now in my life. It's like, because I've been moving and there's a lot of like tension, as we know, in the world, and worrying about like how will this go and where are we going. So and I can also feel a lot of that in my voice when I sing just now, like now in my life right now. Yeah.
Okay, so you do breath work, you do yoga, meditation, and do you also have like singing exercises that
Hmm.
that you incorporate into your practice? What kind of
Yeah.
exercises are those?
Mostly it's like this regular with the R, like you do the
The
and
Spanish
then
error that I can say. That's
yeah,
a,
so that, and then you have the like those ones are really good. Um, and then it can be, for me, like more of like loosening up the face, and like
yes.
making different sounds and stuff like that. And then also like coming down to the yoni and really like being aware and like relaxing like in the whole body. That's something also that helps me a lot. um yeah, and I'm also actually really excited because now I'm soon going to a retreat where I'm going to practice more of Indian classic music. So that's like that kind of singing is when you sing like a tone for very long time, like 20 minutes or even more, like to this background raga. So this is
Yes.
something that, yeah.
That's great for the breathing technique.
Mm-hmm.
Really, because
Yes.
you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to inhale and exhale during the whole tone.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Great.
mean,
Have you also been doing that?
no, I haven't. When I do some mantra singing, there is this guy I mentioned off the air, Kevin James, friend
Mm-hmm.
of mine. He was also a guest on this podcast, and he does regularly chanting circles nowadays, also online. So when we're singing together, but he also does like actual songs out of the classical Sanskrit
Mm-hmm.
mantras. and he incorporates English lyrics into the songs. But sometimes I do, and sometimes meditating, I do some intonation if I feel like it. And I just let it flow naturally. I think that's a great way of connecting, indeed. So, and how do you prepare for a gig before you jump on the stage, or if it's not a stage, wherever you're playing at the moment?
I do actually take a lot of time on me, like to prepare, because I feel like as soon as I wake up on the day when I'm going to perform, I really feel like this, it's both this nervousness and a bit of like tenseness, but then a lot of like focus. So it's a wide range of how I prepare myself, but mostly it's like having time alone and really like focusing and like putting, also breathing a lot up the nervousness to my third eye. This is something like really using that nervous energy and like, yes, aim it as an arrow. And this has helped me a lot. And actually, when I don't get nervous, that's when I get really nervous, because then, I'm like, where's the energy that I can use? So that's more or less what I do. Like I breathe and I really like focus, and I really don't want to get disturbed. I tell people like to go away, and I sit alone. And I also do some praying, like really like, expressing gratitude. And yeah, I also feel like when I aim, or when I like really feel the purpose of why I'm performing and the purpose of the music, then I relax into it, and also like the joy of it takes over, and then I can really use that nervousness. So basically that's how I do it.
That's awesome. So you
Yeah.
focus on the third eye chakra when you're doing this preparation. I focus on the throat chakra. That's
Mm,
where the vocal folds are. But that's also a good way to see it, like vision.
yeah.
Vision. Let's go for it. So you get nervous before your shows all the time.
Yes, I do. I really do. It's a good sign for me, because I know then it's like it's something important. It's something that I live for, and I love to perform. Like that's where I belong, on stage, and like in front of an audience. The first few seconds, of course, like you're nervous, but then it's just something that gives me so much pleasure and joy. So it's amazing. But yeah, of course I get nervous, because it's important. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So what are your plans now? You have been releasing singles throughout the year, the last year. What are your plans now? More singles, an album, an EP?
Yeah.
None of the above. All of the
Thank you for
above.
asking. Yeah, exactly. I wish. No, but actually, I'm having releasing an EP in the end of, I don't know exactly when, but it's gonna be before summer. And so it's gonna be a part of one of those, all of those two singles that I just released are gonna be on that EP. And the working name I have is She, or She Has Wakened, or Awaken. So basically, the whole EP is about my love for the divine feminine. So it's like rap and soul mix, where I sing and rap about my life and humans in general, and like how we can also feel a lot of nervousness or anxiety, but also like to get comfort in the relationship to the mystical parts of life. Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. And then I also have another single that's coming soon, together with another rapper called Bella Bonbon, where you're gonna hear it. It's really good. So it's a song about women and like our ways of looking at our bodies. and how we actually are good enough as we are.
Okay.
So that's the plan.
I will keep on learning Swedish so I can understand the lyrics.
Yes.
But like you said, I mean, sometimes music just resonates. It doesn't matter if you understand the lyrics or not. Like there are mantras, Sanskrit mantras, and I might not understand everything they are singing at the moment, and I look it up later on, but it's connecting. So it might be the same. And when you said you have fans in America or Italy, I thought, oh, that's really cool. The message is coming across either way.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how can people find you? You have no website, but you are on the social networks.
Yes. Yes, I'm on my way to getting a good website, but that's not been on my list yet. So it's coming. But right now you can just find me on Instagram. So it's Naomi.Runa. That's where you can find me, or Facebook. So yeah, basically that's it right now.
Yeah, I'll put the link here in the video description or the show notes, to Instagram, to Facebook, to your Spotify maybe. And you have a YouTube channel, I saw, but you only have one video there so far. Still, I will link it here.
Yes, it's a really great video. It's a very beautiful video to my earlier single, Som du är, which means as you are.
As you are, I understood correctly. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, and it's a really, really beautiful single about like the sacred union of both internal marriage with the divine and feminine and masculine, but also of lovemaking to your loved one.
Awesome. So, well, thank you very much for having been here on the podcast. And like I always ask any of my guests, I want to hear you sing without any tricks, without any studio production, like naked in a sense. Yes. Would you be willing to sing something a cappella for the audience?
Of course I will. So I will sing a little short part of also an unreleased single.
Oh, so, awesome. Premiere.
Yes. So it's in Swedish. I can translate afterwards. But okay. Så varje gång jag sjunger i min egen stad, exploderar som en vulkan. Här, jag sjunger hennes andetag, skyddar på den väg jag valt, exploderar som en vulkan. Yes.
Awesome. I understood some words. I sing. You said you
yeah, exactly.
So what's the translation of those words you sang?
So it's more like that I sing her breath, the breath of her. And every time that I sing the breath of her in my own town, I explode as a volcano.
Awesome.
A volcano. Yeah.
Volcano, yeah. The last line was also understandable. So yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Naomi. I had a great pleasure having you here. You are the first interview guest of the year, 2022. Wow. And my first Swedish guest. Hopefully not the last.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was a pleasure meeting you. And yes, thank you so much.
Not a problem. So, see you next time.
Take care. Ciao.
So that was it. That was the interview with Naomi Runa. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will look her up and listen to her music. As always, all the links are here in the video description or in the show notes. And I hope you will listen next time. Let's see who I can get for the podcast for the next episode. I wish you a great time. Sing your heart out as always. And follow us. Stay in touch. Until next time. Bye.